N-O is my new yes. N-O is my new yes. When I say no to you, I'm saying yes to me. And when I say yes to me, I set myself free. I'll say that again. When I say no to you, I'm saying yes to me. And when I say yes to me, I set myself free. This all came from a song that you're going to hear later on in the talk. But when I decided that I was going to do this talk, I thought to myself, because ego got right in there and said, well, if you are going to get up there and encourage people to say no, then how am I ever going to get volunteers to say yes? I had to think about it for a while. And then I went to the deeper meaning of why this song really impacted me when I heard it by Karen Drucker. And it's actually titled, N-O is my new yes. And it hit me so deeply. So when I really took into meditation the deeper part of what this title means, and I'm going to encourage you today, are you willing to go and look at the deeper meaning of those words, N-O is my new yes? All right, then we're going for it. There are really good times and opportunities in our lives to say yes. But I believe there are many of us in this room, or we know of someone close to us who has a real problem with saying no. Thank you, me too. Thank you. I may have heard the word boundaries years ago, but I really didn't have a clue what personal boundaries meant. Can we see the first slide? Can you see it there? Boundaries. I allow myself to set healthy boundaries, to say no to what does not align with my values, to say yes to what does. Boundaries assist me to remain healthy, honest, and living a life that is true to me. True to me. This was foreign to me years ago. But if you look at it, personal boundaries are really like property boundaries. You all know what property boundaries are, right? Yeah, this is my property, and that is your property, right? That is your property, and this is my property. And boy, we have fights over that sometimes, don't we, in property lines? Well, no wonder. Take it into our personal. Personal boundaries are, this is me, and this is what I need and what I feel. That is not me. This is me. That is not me. But see, I didn't understand this. So slide number 2, please. Let me keep. Setting boundaries is a way of caring for myself. It doesn't make me mean, selfish, or uncaring because I don't do things your way. I care about me too. We've all had some experience in this, haven't we? Where when you finally did have the courage to say no because you knew it did not fit right for you, and then have you ever been attacked by the person you're saying no to say, well, you don't even care about me. Some minister you are. You call yourself a minister? It's a challenge, isn't it? Ever since you've been going to that new church, all of a sudden, you're saying no. Because in this new thought, old thought, is all about encouraging you that it's okay to have a healthy selfish. See, there is self-centered and there is healthy selfish. Self-centered is, it's all about me. Healthy selfish says, let me check in a minute. That doesn't feel right. I don't think I should do that. I used to say yes to everyone because I didn't want to disappoint you. Can you relate to any of that? I didn't want to disappoint you. Somewhere in my childhood, I learned that it was safer to be a people pleaser, to do what people expected of you. You know, like many people, I attended, as Alan Cohen, author, calls it, I attended school at the Our Lady of Perpetual Suffering. Anybody else gone to that school? Where you gain graces by sacrificing your own happiness and bearing the old rugged cross. But as Dolly Parton says in the movie, Straight Talk, get off the cross, honey. Somebody needs the wood. Get off the cross, honey. Somebody needs the wood. It took me to wake up to that. What's our next slide there, please? If caring for others causes you to neglect yourself and your family, it may be codependency. Now, I don't want you to get slipped up here because some of us have a lot of codependency going on in our families. Okay? I'm talking about in the healthy family structure. Okay? I'll give you an example of this. My daughter, several months ago, Christy calls, and she leaves me a voicemail. And she's asking, Mom, can you watch the kids on Tuesday because Mike and I have a counseling appointment that we really need to go to. Call me back. Love you, bye. All right. I get the voicemail, and this is no kidding, and I have done a lot of work on codependency. I have been in CODA groups for years, which is Codependent Anonymous. And so I listen to this, and I look at my day planner, and I'm like, oh, I got a chiropractor appointment that day. Well, they really need to go to this counseling appointment because it's really important that they keep seeing their counselor because it really helps them with all their kids. And I could probably I'll get another appointment next week for myself. Can you relate to that? And then I stopped and checked in with myself. Literally, I paused, I prayed, and got clear. I was about to go ahead and make them happy and do away with my self-care. I have 4 herniated discs in my back. It is very important for me to keep taking chiropractic and holistic care with my back. But I'm about to give it up. I'll take care of me next week. So I had to call her back and say, can you hear it? Is this one on? Is this on, Adam?
I said no.
These are for sale in the bookstore. I had a feeling we'd have a run on them after service today. Ask yourself this question. Is there anything you would like to do but are not doing it because you might not live up to someone's expectations? Is there anything you'd like to do but you aren't doing it because you're afraid you aren't living up to someone's expectations? Is there anything you'd like to do but are not doing it because they might relapse or die? Some of us have this, what I call codependency disease, very strongly, and I sacrifice myself. You know, this, I love this button.
No.
Did you hear it again?
No.
No, that's my favorite one. Maybe, yeah, no. That's my favorite one. This no thing, to take care of me, is not easy. I'm not telling you this is easy. It is not. And it's really important for you to check in on a regular basis as to how you're feeling when people are asking you to do something. We just, 6 months ago, or maybe it's been longer than that now, changed our vision and mission statement, and part of that statement says we want joyfully active congregants. See, we don't want codependent congregants who are giving because they want to please me, or they want to please church, or they think they're going to get some graces by doing that, and then 6 months from now, they're angry. That's not the giving spirit that I want to see you in your life doing. And so, for me to have given in to my daughter, trust me, there would have been this. And how would I have felt when I called the chiropractor to cancel the appointment and rearrange their schedule and my schedule just so they can be happy? If they really want to go, they'll figure it out, won't they? Oh, there's a great another slide coming. But I want to tell you, you know, I was talking to someone this week, and they're taking a Jesus class for Unity. And she was saying, man, I really am falling in love with this guy, Jesus. I'm telling you, I get it, because it wasn't until I started seeing the unity perspective of Jesus and the metaphysical interpretation of all of the story and life of Jesus that all of a sudden he became my new best friend. I used to think, I don't really know, Jesus thing. You know, there was that period of time where I didn't want to talk about the God thing or the Jesus thing. You know, it's too religious. Too much religion. But when I really saw that he was like this great teacher and he had it going, he became my new best friend. It's almost like, tell me what to do now, because I'm telling you, the whole New Testament is a roadmap on how to do life when you look at it from that perspective. So Jesus was a great example of how to take care of himself, because I kept thinking to myself, you know, as a little kid, I don't know how, but somehow either in catechism or somehow I got the perception that Jesus, just if you needed Jesus, he was there. And if you needed Jesus, he was there. And Jesus, I don't know how the man did it. But then if you really start to look at the whole life of Jesus, he said no quite often. He really did. He showed us the way to love, and sometimes love meant having to say no. Jesus had limitations that he accepted in a relaxed way, like he realized he had a human body, and that body needed nourishment and rest, and it could only be at one place at one time. Like there only being 24 hours in a day. Unlike some ambitious, overworking people who try to accomplish 26 hours of activity in a 24-hour day, Jesus didn't do that. He had personal needs that he put priority on. Sometimes he did it over the needs of other people, and he did it without feeling guilty. That's rare, isn't it? He did it without feeling guilty. Primarily his personal, I would have called it self-care until I read this article that called it his personal soul care. When you're doing self-care, you're taking care of your soul. Did anybody teach that in school? I never got that in religion. 12 years of religion class, I never got that I was supposed to take care of my soul. I knew I had a soul, but I didn't know I was responsible to take care of it. Did you? The beauty of it is the kids that are up in the classrooms are learning that. So this question will be invalid 20 years from now. Ministers are going to really have to step it up because they're going to be talking to an enlightened group of people. So primarily, he would always, we heard this all the time, his part of his soul care was spending time alone with God. And he called God Abba a lot, which I love, means Papa. And where is Mary? Is she here? Mary's back there. Mary Haley refers to, I'm talking to Papa right now. Papa'd be so happy. She just gets in that feeling zone of Papa. And it's just wonderful when she calls him that. But anyway, he lived in this rhythm of life. And he kept himself free of burnout. And how did he do that? Because he went away often and prayed and connected. He got prayed up. He got full, I love this, full of God, full of grace, full of his personal truth. How many of you have moments in the day when you can feel like that? And why don't we have more? Stephanie, when she read the daily word and she repeated the verse from Psalms about having joy. We're human beings and we're supposed to be experiencing joy, not in the classroom of perpetual suffering. It's about soul care. What's our next one there? Codependency is driven by the agreement that I will work harder on your problem and your life than you do. How many have done that for people? Okay, Jesus didn't do that. Jesus always wanted an action step from the person he was going to heal. He always asked them to do an action step. He didn't waste his time. What was it, the blind man? He had to walk a long way in order to put mud on his eyes to regain his sight. And I say it all the time, so I'm going to say it again, because the Lazarus story is such a perfect example of Jesus calling people up and out and not dropping everything just because Jesus, your best friend Lazarus, is dying. You need to come now. And what did he say?
No!
I'm busy doing my Father's work right now. I'll get to him when I can. How hard do you think that was for him to say about his best friend? That could not have been an easy no. But he did it because he was clear on his personal boundary lines. Jesus was clear. He said no to Herod. When Herod asked him, he said, "Show us a sign that you are God." And he said no. Would have been easy, wouldn't it? He could have easily said, "Yes, fine, I'll show you. Poof, here's a miracle." But he didn't. He said, "No, ye of little faith." He said no to his mother and his brothers. Do you remember that? When they came looking for him, and he was in there preaching and teaching, and Mary goes in there and says, "Come on, Jesus, you got to get home." And what did he say? No. I'm busy about my Father's business. Do you think that was easy to say no to his mother? Think he might have got 10 lashings when he got home? I don't know, but he knew. He knew it was his to do. What's our next one? We cripple people who are capable of walking because we choose to carry them. This is a hard one to have to admit. We choose to carry people who can walk. So we got to think about this, because enabling people by carrying them isn't really helping them. We're stopping them from their divine order in their life. And we're stopping them from learning what lessons it is for them to learn. I can remember a time in my childhood when my dad said, no, you cannot stay here any longer. You've got to go back home, because home was where a horrific event had happened. I didn't want to go home, and I didn't understand why it was making me go home. But the best thing he could have done, and it was the hardest thing I know for my father to do, was to make me put my big girl boots on and get home and get on with life and face it. It couldn't have been easy for him. This is tough love. This is tough love, and I want to just encourage you. We got a song. I want to share this Karen Drucker song, at least 3/4 of it with you. So can we play that, Sandy? No, I set myself free. This suffering has got to go. Who wants more freedom? Yes. N-O is my new yes. Is that last slide, Sandy? Did I show that one? This is a tough one. Fact, if an addict is happy with you, you're probably enabling them. If an addict is mad at you, you're probably trying to save their life. But we don't like people to be mad at us, do we? I'm with you. I'm with you. My son was there years ago, and I said yes, and I said yes, and I said yes, and I said yes, and finally the last call, I couldn't take it anymore. I said, you call me back in 5 minutes. This was the day before he had a cell phone, so he's at a payphone. I called the minister here. At that time, it was Claudette Ferrone, and I said, I don't know what to do. I can't keep doing this. I can't keep doing this. I was gived out. And she said, you've got to do tough love, Kathy. You've got to do tough love. At that time, my son was into drugs, big time. And he was living in his car, was homeless, and I had to say no. And I set myself free that day. Eventually, it set him free. It didn't right away. Are you kidding? What did I get? Bam, went the phone. No cell phone. So I don't hear from him for weeks. Of course not. Next time he called, it was, can you please send me a bus ticket home? That was the start of his recovery. So I understand that slide. One more slide I want to give you. There will always be someone who can't see your worth. Don't let it be you. Because when I give in and when I say yes to everything when I know I'm not supposed to, I'm not valuing my self-worth. At every moment, a voice of wisdom is emanating within your soul, from within your soul. It's broadcasting guidance. Like a radio station. It's broadcasting all the time. It's always on the air. The voice of God is as loud as your willingness to listen. It's always broadcasting. But we've got to be quiet to hear it. With that I say namaste. Truly, truly. And I say this, that the Christ presence in me truly sees the Christ presence in each and every one of you. May you see the namaste in everyone you see today and for this week to come. When somebody cuts you off in traffic, just say namaste.